reviewing the major headlines making the front pages of different Nigerian dailies. And to do this with us is Dr. Pastor Patrick Anidi. Very good morning to you. Feels good to have you in the studio. Thank you for coming.
She almost called you professor.
Whichever way.
Nigerians, when you go to occasions, you don't put that doctor. Especially if it's a chairman of a wedding,
I totally
he won't
agree.
come out.
I totally agree. Nigerians are very crazy about titles.
Bridegroom.
Tell them to address me properly.
To an extent, these titles don't come easy, so, most times it's good to attach them. Okay, I'm reviewing the Punch newspaper, of course, the New Telegraph, the National Mirror, and the Daily Trust newspaper.
Okay, on this end, we'll be looking at the Guardian, the Nation, the Nigerian Tribune, the Authority, and of course, the Daily Sun. So let's start with the Punch.
So we're starting with the Punch newspaper. The screaming headlines on the Punch says, budget signing delay hurting economy. That's coming from the NLC, the MAN, and the LCCI. That's on pages 2 and 29 on the Punch newspaper. National Assembly to look at grey areas after meeting Buhari. That's on page 2. Punch appoints executive director. That's on page 8. Teenager kills landlady, daughter, grandchildren, reports self to police. That's on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. Very sad. Congolese musician Papa Wemba collapses on stage, dies. That's on page 9. Correspondent Popo Ola wins Africa's Best Insurance Reporters Award. That's on page 11 of the Punch. Federal government okays 5-year expiry date for driving license. Page 10. 3 die, 14 vehicles burnt in Kaduna fire. That's on page 10. Change doesn't happen overnight, Buhari tells Nigerians. Page 8. EFCC probes Shopee, 62 million naira payment to permanent secretaries. That's on page 8. Very quickly, Pastor Dr. Patrick Anidi, budget signing delay hurting economy. That's coming from the Nigerian Labour Congressman and LCCI, page 2 and page 29. When we began this conversation, Benjamin talked about the fact that the delay in the release of the budget is really stalling activities in the economy. Now the LCCI, NLC are actually affirming everybody's complaining. But like I said, the president might have good intentions. Yeah. Do you think the way he's communicating his intentions is really proper?
It's not proper because even right now, the deaf and the blind can see that the economy,
the economy is
kind of stalled. And if that happened to be the case, it shows that the president, though he has good intention, he is not doing well at all. You may have good intention, but good intention that is being executed at the wrong time is as good as Babash. It's driving us to nowhere. So, like I said before, there should be a cutoff point, a level where you feel even if we suffer some losses, it is tolerable. That is the level. You can't get to zero level of.
I think basically in governance, you might not just achieve 100%, even 80% perfection. The president is trying to be meticulous, and in the course of that, he's also having his own negative impact on the economy.
Yeah, I tell you this, I used to be very careful about certain things. I look at my image. Okay. But somebody told me, if you are too self-conscious, you might not go far. Risk is the order or the beginning of the roadmap to success. You must take risk. And risk is taking off a certain cutoff point that is tolerable to you. So the president cannot be looking forward to achieving 100% or 90% or even 80%. Out of a 10-point scale, if you achieve 7 out of 10, I think that is good enough.
That's a very good pass.
You talked about the deaf and dumb also feeling impact. Even in the church now, it's also affecting the offering and the tithe. And when the church members say, well, Pastor, they've now announced the budget. So the tithes are reducing. But God will not compromise it. It must be 10%. Okay, quickly now, we take a look at the Guardian newspaper. How Nigeria can make more entrepreneurs like Dangote. It has 2 riders here. Nigeria is set to become largest cement exporting country. And smuggling killed my first venture. And that's coming from Dangote. And confusion trails major of ministries, agencies. Lack of offices, duplication of functions, exercise. Of course, scourge of malaria goes on. You can get this on page 6. Of course, a major issue there on the front page of the Guardian is how Nigeria can make more entrepreneurs like Dangote. of course, our subject matter today is talking about job creation and looking at how government can create policies, economic policies, to create new entrepreneurial champions in the economy. When Dangote started, it wasn't that bad, okay? But for now...
It wasn't even as competitive as it is now.
Definitely. So I'm sure it's just... is one entrepreneur that's been celebrated over time. But the secret of Dangote is that he came from a wealthy home.
Yeah.
So finance was at his disposal.
That's true.
How do you explain a young Nigeria, brighter ideas, but no finance?
I think if you have good education, you may not have money, but you can work your way through to becoming rich. If you have money, you don't have education, you can also balance up along the line. So I feel, to me, the way to make more entrepreneurs for Nigeria is to create an enabling environment. I've said that over and over, an ambience of business that permits, ability to execute your genuine idea that you have. If the environment is harsh, there is no way we can create entrepreneurs. Everybody will die with his or her vision. So there must be good enabling environments. Tax is not just too exorbitant. Things like electricity, are in place. Markets are open up. Conditions for business, forex and all that, to be able to run business internationally, are put in order. I tell you this, I'm a researcher also, and the project was to be executed in one of the African countries. And so we sent an RFP to people, send us your quotes. And what they did about 2 years ago, they are asking for about 300% increase. And so that tells you that you may have an idea to run business, but the environment is harsh. So you can't create more entrepreneurs if the environment is not enabling enough.
Well, thank you very much. We'll quickly go to
the New Telegraph. Yeah. The New Telegraph newspaper has its major headlines about EFCC. It says EFCC traces 29 Dubai houses to ex-governor. Commission seeks UAE's United Arab Emirates Corporation to freeze assets. That's on page 2. DG ex-permanent secretaries orders squeezed over 1.5 billion naira campaign funds. That's on page 2 of the New Telegraph newspaper. 3 die as fuel tanker explodes in Kaduna. That's on page 8. Still on the New Telegraph newspaper, NCAA, ARIC tops in-flight delays. Air France in pilfered luggage. Port Harcourt Warri Refinery's production hits 7 million litres daily. That's on page 7 of the New Telegraph. I am not incapacitated, says Babangida. That's on page 3. Saraki Commission on WAPAT over National Assembly's clap. That's on page 2. Woman bathes stepson with hot water. That's on page 8. Abducted Oshun Permanent Secretary begins freedom. That's on page 37, coming from Aregbeshola. Governors push for sharing of $2.25 billion ECA. Wants CBN to cut interest on bailouts to 3%. That's on page 3. Cough, cold medicines could increase health risk for kids. That's on page 6. Very quickly, EFCC traces 29 Dubai houses to ex-governor. I just want to find out, if as an ex-governor, am I wrong to build houses in Dubai? Am I wrong to own properties out of Nigeria? Well, yes, we're fighting corruption, but I think in as much as we're fighting corruption, people should be given the freedom and liberty to express their wealth if they want to, provided it's not coming from the government purses. If the headline, I haven't really seen the what's it called, the details of this story, but it says EFCC traces 29 Dubai houses to ex-governor. I don't think there's anything wrong with tracing houses to ex-governor.
29 houses in Dubai.
To ex-governors, different governors. Yes.
That investment should be put in Nigeria. You are developing another country at the expense of our own country. So what are we talking about?
I think he's an ex-governor.
So
ex-governor.
29 Dubai houses to okay, just one governor, ex-governor.
And what is sorry, what is here? The issue is this: how much does a governor actually earn?
Yeah.
When you look at the civil service salary structure. Okay, and even if you look at all these entitlements and emoluments, it doesn't really come to buying houses in Dubai. You're buying dollars.
Yes, buying in dollars.
So it will be interesting to know who the ex-governor is.
Maybe the governor starved himself for like more than 365 days in office just to acquire these houses in Dubai.
Yeah, she's been cynical.
It is not possible, and he wants to be earning hard currency. That's why he decided to put investment in foreign.
I think I can now see why I can understand Buhari's pain. Why these people should just go to jail.
Yeah.
Not even billing, because I was reading a paper, a story, the issue of rule of law. Okay, that no matter, yes, you know, you must respect. Yes. And this guy was bought 29 houses in Dubai. I don't know.
They did not respect the average Nigerians. They were elected to govern. What they have done is to milk us.
And these are not just mere houses.
But I just say, you know,
palacios, well structured, highly ending edifices,
and they are being maintained.
The funny thing is,
know what it takes to maintain a property in Dubai.
In Dubai, talking of maintaining 29.
We're not talking about one Shaku building, Nigeria, whatever. Yes. So such people. Unfortunately, the press are not also doing us well. But I'm sure perhaps the detail probably have the names of the name of the particular government mentioned. Otherwise, if it is kept in secrecy, it's not doing us any.
The funny thing is, these people keep vying for political positions year after year, not knowing that at this point in time, Nigerians are more smart, Nigerians are wiser, Nigerians are more astute.
That is why what Buhari is doing right now, to me, I'll put my signature that he's doing well.
I think, yes.
Somebody once told me, we've not seen the change. But again, another person quickly called me and said, sir, what are we talking about? He came to my church and said, what do you feel when you see a general, a one-time general, dog at the counter and is like shedding tear? How do you feel when you see the third man in the rank coming to sit at the dock? What do you feel when former national security advisor is, being molested or harassed or being exposed for public to have a good information about the damages they have done to our country? So that alone is a benefit.
And when another man steals a goat, they will charge him to court and send him 6 months in prison. You could actually feel the reason why President Buhari is really hard on these politicians. Okay, quickly now, the front page of The Nation. EFCC probes 4 billion naira deposits in ex-minister's account, with a rider agency to retrieve $400,000 paid in bid to change polls results, and federal government to pay states March deferred debts. And on page 5, Sherry steps up lobby for PDP chair, and Southwest Group threatens defection. National Assembly soft pedals on budget. Buhari's request to get okay. So we're hoping that we will get this budget signed. Dr. Patrick, Sheriff is stepping up lobby. The Southwest is saying no man from the Southwest have headed the party. So this is the time. Olabode George is also canvassing. And they've threatened defection. I wonder where they're going to defect to. So, for Sharif, do you think Sharif should actually just give in? And,
like I said last time I came in here, I think PDP, quite apart from the zoning formula, they're also being careful about what happened in 2019. Like I said before, Sharif, according to information making weight, is known to be inconsistent, according to media reports. Okay. There was a time they said he was in a particular party and was actually working.
So another party.
And all that. And also, it's been reported that he has hand in this Boko Haram issue and all that. So I feel that it would just be nice for the sheriff to step down. And this is not just about Southwest. You find out that quite a number of politicians, also even in the Northeast, are just need to ensure that he does not actually stay there as the chairman of the party.
Okay, thank you very much. We have the
National Mirror. Yes, the National Mirror is next, and the major headline, which happens to be the boldest one, says 6 die in Kaduna fuel station fire. 6 houses petrol station razed in Ondo State of Nigeria. That's on page 2 of the National Mirror newspaper. Other stories: Nigeria undergoing turbulent times. That's coming from Gowon. That's on page 2. Appropriation committees set to rework 2016 budgets. That's on page 4. Ondo Council polls a charade. That's coming from APC on page 13. Ondo Council polls a charade on page 13 of the National Mirror newspaper. Nigeria undergoing turbulent times. Appropriation committee is set to rework 2016 budget. That's on page 4. It seems like there's a merry-go-round ride where we're running back and forth in circles on the budget. The National Assembly are talking, the Senate is talking. I'm aware they're supposed to meet with the President tomorrow, talking about the National Assembly. Should we be hopeful that after the meeting with the President tomorrow, the budget will be passed?
They just have to do something quickly. The idea of keeping the budget in waiting or this long is not helping. It's not helping their image. I want to advise through this medium that the parties involved should swallow their ego and come to a point of compromise and get this thing signed off. The President had expressed certain area of concern, which is popularly referred to as gray area, and I think the National Assembly, the legislature, should sit with him and get this thing dotted and crossed and let's move forward.
Okay, there's still one story she read there.
6-star in Kaduna fuel station.
It tells you the negative impact of the fuel scarcity. I wonder what must have happened. Possibly there could have been a fracas or somebody smoking cigarette, and before you know it, I think it's on
basically all the papers.
Yeah, okay.
It's the pictures, pictorial on papers.
It's also, like I said the other time, I think it was reported once that a family died.
Yeah.
A father and a son, or a mother and a daughter in Lagos.
So the scarcity itself.
And I said, Nigeria, we are losing people because of scarcity of.
Most times, you might even be trying to conserve fuel in the process. You end up burning and harming yourself because you're trying to conserve.
As much as you can, you can't predict what tomorrow may look like. So
I've turned my car into a mini petrol station. Okay, quickly now, we take a look at the Nigerian Tribune. And this is good news, but people might want to be asking, how is this going to go round? High cost of food items, Buhari orders release of 10,000 tons of grains. You want to find out to who? Page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. And talking about the NMA conference, 5 Ekiti doctors die in Kaduna auto crash. The sad one there on page 9. Yoruba may pull out of PDP or Kupe as battle rages over zoning on page 8. And forex scarcity encouraging local production, central bank governor, you can get that on page 10. And budget on pass may be resolved this week on page 2. States collected 683.6 billion naira IGR in 2015, says the NBS, and federal government to defray states 10.9 billion March obligations on page 10. Okay, Dr. Patrick, the president ordering the release of 10,000 tons of grains. I hope that will get to Lagos.
What really happens is that will be kept for a particular time. But I think it's okay. That's coming from the
Is that coming from the reserve?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
That this reserve, and reserve for what? And if this is the situation or the direction we want to be heading, the formula for distribution.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Well, consider so that some zones or regions also don't just suffer, from inadequate.
Because when you read that story, when the president said release, you think this thing is free.
That's true.
Yes, it's not free, but it's going to be given at a very high level of subsidized.
Okay, the Daily Trust newspaper says, despite federal government's bailout, state still owes salaries. That's on page 5. Despite federal government's bailout, state still owes salary. That's on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. All ex-governors in Senate have issues with EFCC. That's on page 16. Presidency orders release of 10,000 tons of grains. That's on page 14. Trains crushes motorcyclist, nursing mother in Ilorin, Kwara State. That's on page 18. Abducted Osun government official freed. That's on page 13. Local refineries pump 7 million liters daily. That's coming from Ibikachiku, Minister of State for Petroleum. That's on page 20. Sympathizers at the NNPC Mega Station and Shemarko Petrol Station after a fire incident in Kaduna on Saturday evening. That's on page 6. This actually happened at NNPC Mega Station. That's really sad. And finally, on Daily Trust newspaper, it's been 742 days since over 200 Chibok schoolgirls were taken by Boko Haram. They're still keeping tabs. It's really sad that the fire raising these people took place at the NNPC Mega Station.
Petrol station.
Can you imagine?
That's quite sad.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like we said, maybe in trying to struggle to get for smokers, somebody may be smoking, or somebody not being conscious, pick up the house.
Sometimes there's fight always within the filling station. The small spark could create a lot of
but it's a reason why we should do something quickly.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Quickly, we'll take a look at the Authority newspaper. I am alive, says Babangida. Of course, you find that at the topmost part of the paper, page 5. There was this rumor that the president is dead. Okay, but the major news headlines there: DSS rates CCB chairman's Abuja residence. We are not aware, said bureau officials. An opposition to national grazing bill mounts. 6 dead, 15 vehicles burnt in Kaduna petrol station inferno. We told you that earlier, page 4. And family accuses EFCC of plot to kill detained Jonathan's cousin, on page 4. The CCB chairman's Abuja residence raid. Dr. Patrick, what do you think? Of course, with Saraki's case going on, last week we were told the documents that were supposed to be presented by the prosecution got bumped in the bank. Today, DSS is raiding the CCB. I think it's Nigeria is very good at acting home videos, political home videos.
And really, when I listen to the witness response, that some of those documents got bumped, number one. Number two, certain banks' original names are not exactly what the names were. After further investigation, though, they did not also know the location or site of registration of that bank and all that. It creates some distortion in the flow of the consistency nature.
Lots of question marks.
And that may be a riddle that is being played in such a way that at the end of the day, the man is set off the hook, perhaps. All these things could be created in such a way to say that, okay, the evidence are not really.
But from what you've seen so far, what do you think? I mean, from the trial that took place last week.
Do you see Saraki?
Well,
I wasn't too impressed with the prosecutors.
Well, we discussed about that earlier. But given what is happening, even the diaspora can see uproar. A certain number of people in America, UK, and all of that are talking that is it 10 days or 30 days? I think about 10 days or something like that, he should resign. And you can see that the sound that we are hearing in Nigeria is high, it's not low. He might not come out of it. Okay. He might not, if this tempo remains as it were. Of course, it's a subject of available evidence anyway.
Okay, so the Sun?
Okay, now quickly now, finally the Daily Sun, anti-corruption war, politicians' files disappear at CAC. With a rider, EFCC storms Commission 7 suspended on page 6. Lagos Calabar rail with being budget at Pabio on page 8. And PDP clears Ondo local government polls. This is on page 11. And battle for IGP post hot song. It's a battle really, a replacement for Arase. Okay, if you look at the anti-corruption war, politicians' files beginning to disappear. Wofai,
how do these files disappear? Of course, people have hands in it. People that
possibly they have a lot to hide.
Yes, you see, if you have a company and you don't want that name of that company to be published, you can do something quickly to delete that file from CSC.
And if it disappears, that means those in CSC
are collaborators.
But there's need for us to start embracing modern technology, So if your files disappear, if the hard copies of your files disappear, you could always make reference to.
Of course.
To an extent, I agree.
You see breaking through to banks and money being taken from
I think that alone should be a subject matter.
Yeah.
Files of politicians.
They have collaborators everywhere. Yeah,
and everyone has a price.
But we need to up our antes.
It's a good information to show that the management of information should be much more watertight. Okay. That's the signal.
Thank you very much, Dr. Patrick. Doctor is going to be with us. So, Wofai, what is the subject matter today?
We're talking about unemployment. The federal government actually campaigned and said it was going to be creating jobs for our teeming population. Yes, that was among their 5-point agenda and their campaign promises. But now, how far have they gone in creating jobs? What are the challenges? What are the drawbacks? What are the perspectives in job creations for the unemployed in Nigeria? So
of course, definitely. We also have a guest analyst that is going to be joining us shortly after this break. Himself, alongside Dr. Patrick and all of us here, will be taking a look at that issue. We'll be right back.